Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to cover how you can have different stat costs for different weapons. I'm also going to show you how you can scale damage based on the character's attack type. Okay, first I'm going to show you how to have different stat costs depending on the weapon. And so what we can do to have a different stat cost depending on the action and have a different stat cost depending on the weapon as well is, let's go to Blueprints, Actors, let's open up the base weapon, and let's create a new variable in here. The value will be character action, and the second value will be a float, and so this will be action stat cost. And we can put both of these in a category called stats, and we can make both of these instance editable if you want to. And so what we can do is, let's go to onEquipped here, and let's get a reference to State Manager. And let's store that here. So promote to variable, owner, State Manager. And we can go ahead and make this private. Okay, compile and save. And now what we can do is we can create a new function. We can call this get stat cost value, or we can call this get stat cost for action. And for this we can simply get owner state manager, convert to validated get. From here we can get current action, and we can find this value based on the current action. We return this, and we need to make this a pure function. Okay, and now we can also create a function to get the damage. So get damage, we can put both of these in the stats category. Inside get damage we can right click action stat cost and duplicate it. We'll call this one action damage multiplier. So this will be a damage multiplier. Compile and save. And for this one we can add light attack will be 1. So that's not going to make any changes to the damage. Heavy attack can be 1.2. Or you can even make that more if you want to, 1.4. Sprint attack can be 1.2. And charge attack can be 1.5. And I'm going to make falling attack 1.2. And so now what we can do is we can find and we can get our state manager, convert to validated get, and we can get current action. Get damage, and we can multiply the damage by this value here, in which we don't ever want this value to be 0, because if this value is 0 and we multiply that by 0, then the damage will become 0. We do not want that, so let's go ahead and clamp float. The max value is going to be this value, and the current value is also going to be this value. The minimum value is going to be 1. And now we can return the damage. Okay, and if this is not valid, we can simply return the normal damage. And make sure that this is a pure function. Compile and save. Let's add some stat costs as well. So we'll add light attack, cost 10. The attack will cost 15. Sprint attack will cost 10. Charge attack will cost 20. Falling attack will cost 10. And dodge will cost 20. And those are all just the default values. We can modify those in child classes. And so that has everything done there. So now what you can do is go to a weapon such as the Greatsword, and let's go find the stats. And you can see inside stats, we can go ahead and manipulate all of these values. We can make light attack cost a little bit more stamina, heavy attack cost a little bit more stamina, and so on. And here in action damage multiplier, we can also give this weapon more multipliers for the different types of actions. And so that allows us to have different stat costs and different amounts of damage depending on the weapon. So let's go to the combat player character. Let's go ahead and get the combat component. Let's get main weapon. And here we can make sure that the main weapon is valid. If it is valid, get stat cost for action. Let's go ahead and multiply that by -1. So that way the value will become a negative and it will subtract from the stamina. Okay, now plug that in, and we can go ahead and call the same thing from right here for dodge. Okay, and we can call the same thing for charge attack. And so that should be enough for now. We can also go to the base weapon, and let's go to the event graph. Instead of getting the damage value directly, we can call the get damage function and plug that in here to base damage. Okay, compile and save. Okay, now let's test it out. So whenever I do light attack, it should be a different value whenever we do strong attack. It's a little bit more. And charge attack costs a lot more stamina. Dodge costs a lot more stamina. Those are just the base values. So for example, if I want to go into tough sword, set the value for dodge, action stat cost for dodge to be something really high like 100. It's going to cost all of our stamina whenever we dodge. But this is just to show you that we can make it different depending on the weapon. As you can see, it took away all the character's stamina. But I don't really want that, so let's go back to dodge and set that back to 20. And now we can also go ahead and test the damage. So put the character back out and rotate the character around. And let's go ahead and quickly just print the damage. Print string, we'll print the damage. And we can even make this sort of red so we can see it better. Sort of reddish orange, I guess is fine. Let's go ahead and hit the character. So right now I just did 20 damage. Let's go ahead and do a charge attack. If this attack will even hit the character. Yeah, that's just as I thought. We need to add the, let's go to combat system, course files, animations, light sword, charge attack. Let's open that up. We need to add hit detection to this. So about right here, I'm going to add a new notify track. I'm going to add a notify state. This is going to be collision trace. Goes from here all the way to here. Okay. Now let's see how much damage we're doing. So the regular attack does 20 damage, but the charge attack does 30 damage. And so as you can see, we have different amounts of damage depending on the attack type. You could even increase that to be even more. So I can go to actors, tough sword, and we can make the charge attack multiplier to 2. And that is only for the tough sword. And so now the tough sword will have a higher damage multiplier for the charge attack. The normal attack is still 20. The charge attack is 40 now. And so that's how you can scale the damage based on the weapon. Okay, go ahead and compile and save. That brings us to the end of this video. In this video, we created functionality that will allow us to have different stamina cost and different amounts of damage depending on the character action and the weapon. Thanks for watching. In the next video, we're going to cover armor and a defense stat.